Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Entrando la sala María y el Santo José son los padres buenos de ese niño rey. La Virgen María y el Santo José son los padres buenos de ese niño rey.
Alegría, alegría, se nació el Señor para salvar al hombre y ser su redentor. Entre que una la Virgen María, Jesús es el niño, el Rey del cielo.
12 de la noche nació el verdadero y lo bautizaron día 6 de enero. 12 de la noche nació el verdadero y lo bautizaron día 6 de enero.
Alegría, alegría, se nació el Señor para salvar al hombre y ser su redentor. Entre que una la Virgen María,
Wake up, rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Entran de la sala del recibimiento y yo le cantaré salta del nacimiento.
Opa!
Del recibimiento.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing this beautiful Thursday morning? Yeah, heading into the weekend. I know it's starting to look good, eh? It's starting to feel nice. But good morning to everybody in your spaces and time zones. Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago, neighbors in the Caribbean. Good day to you, friends and family who are streaming all around the globe. Yeah, you know where you are. You know what you're doing this day. Thank you so much for getting up with us. Thank you so much for showing up this day. Can't tell you how greatly we appreciate your company. So thank you for being here on the breakfast show. It is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio. Yes, we are the heartbeat of the Caribbean, taking you above and beyond. And it's a real pleasure to be in your company. So let me say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. Yeah, all that we do, God, let it be a blessing, honor to you. I really do hope you guys are going to have a fantastic day. Yeah, I'm yours truly, Sir Charles. Check it in. Happy am I to be in the space with you as always. As we welcome everybody to the Get Up and Go. This is your breakfast show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Okay, everybody, good morning to you. And of course, welcome to another edition of the breakfast show right here on New Era TT Radio. And trusting that all is well with you in your neck of the woods. I know we here having a really good day today. It's a nice day and a beautiful day on the outside. It looked like we had a little drizzle overnight. Seen some areas, a little wet and stuff and thing, but it didn't look like it was like heavy showers or consistent showers. But we'll see what the day brings as we go along. But for now, it's beautiful weather, and we were looking out for some heavy rains and winds yesterday. I don't know if in some of your areas if you got it, but in my area I didn't really feel anything like that, which is pretty cool, because I remember the last time we had a situation with gusty winds it frightened a lot of people. The weather is so unpredictable, and when you see things happening that you're not accustomed happening, it really have put you in a space where you sort of wonder, wow, what the going on here? Yeah, but all in all, so far it's looking really good this morning. But we just Research Charles, glad to be with you as always, and of course, let me say good morning to Richard and Wendell, and well, of course, Wendell is out this week, yeah, and Richard will join me sometime within this hour here, probably in a short. He gets up kind of slow. Somebody was sending me something. I think I think it's Michael that sent me, showing that when we are all younger, how we just jump out of bed, and as you get older, you can't move as fast. And it's a reality, because I checked it and I said, after I looked at it, I said, wait, it's true. Can't just get up and move. You can't just, jump out and do all kinds of stuff as you used to. But it's a part of life. So sometimes when you see things happening, don't feel as you're alone. No. That is all part of the process that we all have to go through. And if you can make it this far, trust me, you are very blessed and privileged, because all, even as negative as it may sound and seem, what you're experiencing, a lot of people didn't make it this far. Did not make it this far. They never had the opportunity to experience that. So, take it as a positive. Take it as a positive. Well, let me send out but I don't have any birthday greetings to send out today. But I want to send out some condolences because I saw another one of our stalwarts, and we have the changing of the guards. Our artists, especially our calypsonians, who have left their mark with us at some point in time. We all are heading in a particular direction. So I'm getting up this morning and I'm seeing all the condolences going out to Bill Trotman. So I read a couple of days ago where he was in the hospital, and I was saying that, okay, well, he is doing all right, and talking and laughing and everything. It was a shocker to me to wake up this morning to hear that he had passed. I saw some interviews with him a couple of weeks ago. People were putting up some things, and Bill was still very sprightly, his voice strong, and able to make a lot of jokes and sing his songs and stuff. Well, we are waking up this morning to hear that Bill Trotman has passed at age 92. Wow. So thank you very much, Bill Trotman, for the music. I'm going to have one of his major hits, which is that Back to School. Mommy, I want to go back to school. So I'm going to play that for you guys in the 7 o'clock hour, okay, when we come out of the news. So that we'll do that tribute for him around that time. But to all his friends, families, people in the diaspora, and all the Calypso fraternity, condolences to you. For those who were very close to him, I saw, Crazy, Eric Piro, a couple others in between there, and those are all familiar names in that Calypso circle. So, Uncle Bill, thank you so much for the music. Enjoy your big sleep. And as we say, Corey Pascal, a general gone. All right. So what's on the horizon today? Well, yesterday was a break in the football for all you football fans. But today we enter into the quarterfinals. I mean, we talk about controversy. I'm hearing things with referee and I guess at this stage with this particular game, I mean, some things are really glaring. I would not, deny that. Sometimes you really wonder, how he let that pass and how come he pull up this one. But it all depends on where you sit. You'll be happy or sad. If at the end of the day, for example, like the last game with Argentina and Egypt. I saw some things. Well, after already, and so okay, well, yeah, that didn't look too good. That was all right. That could pass, but it all depends on where you sit, on which team you're backing or supporting. You find that you tend to go with certain things and overlook certain things. You know, hardly like I guess anybody would say, like, I'm backing this team and see someone and say, no, 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 don't let him off, penalize him, put him off. You know, but that is the spirit of the game. So, we live for the game, we love the game. But today begins the quarterfinals, and today is a big match between France and Morocco. So, of course, for France, all eyes will be on Kylian Mbappe, and for Morocco, it will be on Achraf Hakimi. Two very deadly strikers we're talking about there. So I know this is a game that's going to be watched by a lot of people. I myself might take it in, but I know my girl Shamin for sure watching this game this evening. That's at TNT time. It's going to be at about 4 p.m. So I hope I'm right with the time, but I think most likely I am. So, interesting enough, France has 17 World Cup appearances. They are two-time champions, so they know what it's like to be in in the championship role. In 1998 they lifted the cup, and then in 2018 again they had their second chance at lifting the cup, and no doubt they are one of the teams that will be trying to do it for a third time. Morocco, on the other hand, they have made their seventh World Cup appearance, and they are actually the first African nation to reach consecutive World Cup quarterfinals. So this is a very important match for both teams, and it's, as some people are calling it, they say it's a rematch of the 2022 World Cup semi-final, which France won 2-0, or if you want to call it 2-0, as we know football players say, against Morocco. So Morocco is looking for, I will say, probably a revenge after another outstanding tournament, and nobody can take that away from them. I think they're having an outstanding tournament, and of course France is aiming to keep its hope alive behind that brilliance of Mbappe. I don't think you can take that away from that young man. And he's entering this match just one goal behind Lionel Messi on the all-time World Cup scoring list. So while Messi has that title at present, I don't know at the end of this World Cup if he will have it. But the two teams still have the opportunity for those individuals to go ahead. So it's even Steven for Mbappe and also for Messi to see which one of them will come out, because both of them are into the quarterfinals. Both of them have matches still. So let's see. Let's see how the thing works out. So interesting game today. I was getting some information also that one of the things that is noticeable, they said that there is a massive ticket collapse after Portugal and USA were eliminated from the game, and they say that ticket prices for the quarterfinal between Spain and Belgium, especially in Los Angeles, have dropped by nearly 60%. Imagine that, 60% in the resale market. I suppose that's in the open market, right? After Portugal and the United States were booted out by Spain and Belgium, respectively. All right. So they say as of yesterday afternoon, the prices had fallen from, imagine tickets were selling for $2,950 US. Woo! I say average about $3,000. 3 7 at $21,000. All I think, all they living in Trinidad, all they paying $21,000 to go and see any football match. Not me, but people who have it, I guess, will pay it, and they have been paying it because stadiums have been filled. But the prices have dropped drastically. So it's yesterday on the market it was at $2,950, and it reached almost down to $1,200. That's a drastic drop in tickets prices. But the fans dictate the pace of the game. So yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how all that plays out. So that is what is happening with the football for today. Ingrid, thank you very much for that piece of information, by the way. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into our good news this morning, and I'll be back.
If you dress well, people think you are showing off. If you dress simply, they assume you are poor. If you put on weight, they say you are eating too much. If you are thin, they assume you must be unwell. If you are wealthy, they deem you arrogant. And if you are struggling, they label you as lazy. And if you speak your mind, they call you toxic. If you stay quiet, they call you weak. No matter what you do, absolute idiots will always have something negative to say. They project their own insecurities onto you because their own pathetic lives are completely empty. They judge your journey while they stand absolutely still doing nothing. So do not ever let the opinions of these losers rob you of your peace. Your life is not a performance for their entertainment. If you are finally done living for other people's approval, follow this profile for more wisdom. And tell me in the comments, have you learned to ignore the noise?
Yeah, have you learned to ignore the noise? And there are lots of truths inside of that. Sometimes you need to, put all that negativity that people throw at you behind you and move on. Do what you have to do, because I'm telling you, sometimes you're doing your best and people will still bad talk you. They will still find ways. Some people just delight in trying to drag you down. But you know what? You have God on your side and you move forward. Yes, so just leave them in the background here. All right, so that is our good news for you this morning. I hope you enjoyed our good news. Let's see if I can. Well, I said I haven't seen Richard as yet, so we continue the episode on. Let's say hello to the people on the chat. I know these YouTube names normally give me a lot of problems, but let me say good morning to Valerie Mendoza, who was in very early. She says good morning to the breakfast team. To Odell Guy, good morning. Blessings to all. Robert Allen, thank you very much for your greeting this morning, Robert. Have a great day. Key George, that's Kenny in Harlem. Okay, good morning, Kenny. Apollodus, wishing everybody a great day. Margaret Thomas, GM guys, good morning, guys. Pamela, Pam, all right, McNichols, okay. Good morning, guys. Blessings to all. Marissa Cellier, good morning to you, Marissa. And of course, you and everybody else in your area. Trini Man, a very special good morning. Morning, folks. Thursday. To all, drink as much water as you can. Trini Man, that's a good advice, sometimes I forget, I must admit, I forget to drink water, but every time I go to the bathroom and I hear it, I check to make sure that it's not discolored. Anytime it starts to get any kind of discolored, trust me, I go in and down water all day. All right. Robert Taylor, good morning to you guys. Kathy Charles Clark, sorry. Good morning to the breakfast crew. Diane, wishing everybody a blessed morning, guys. All the love and give thanks. Pamela Grimshaw, good day to you. Blessings to the best team and all viewers and listeners on the net. Pamela, you are so correct with that one. So yeah, thank you so much. Michelle, what? Eastman. Okay, Eastman. So good morning to you, Michelle. Dwayne Ishol. This name thing there. Let me cipher. Dwayne. All right, so it's Dwayne Sylvester. What is going on here? So good morning to you, gentlemen. Power washing. All right, love in the house. Power washing. I like that. Manuela Peters, good morning to you. Kurt Hope, wishing everybody a good morning. Marlon Motley, good morning to everyone. Let me do like Richard. Good morning, Marlon. All right, see how to try and maintain the thing. Brenda, Joseph, Bless Uprising, Erica Charles, thank God for the life. Trust me, Erica, I agree with you totally. Debbie Modest, good morning to you, Debbie. I'm wishing everybody a great day. Empress Reyes, good morning. Stephen or Stephanie Santana. Hey, Auntie Stephanie, good morning to you. Everyone locked on. Auntie Stephanie, I ain't talked to you for a long time. How is Auntie Norma doing? Right? Hit me up a little message and thing, right? Aline Lewis, blessed morning to you. Empress Reyes is Alegria. Yes. Carol Guevara, blessing so all. Boyibi Desi from DB, good morning. Empress Reyes, she Queen Aparang. John Keto. John says good morning to the Power Breakfast team, viewers and listeners alike. I don't know how to take that, John. All right, okay, no worry. Mogi, Ingrid. Right. Morning, blessings from Tucson, Arizona. So good morning to you, Ingrid. Victor Phillips, good morning to the breakfast show. All on the chat, give thanks for another day. Arch Nemesis, blessed morning. Whatever you all did to Wendell, please fix it. Richard, we know it is not you, so Charles, please fix. Well, it's not actually us, Nemesis. It's Wendell himself. Wendell decided to put out there that if Argentina beats Cabo Verde, that he will appear naked, which would have been Monday. So he know that there are some ladies on the stream who were looking out for him to be appearing naked. One for sure was Zena, right? And he was not probably able to fulfill that promise on Monday, so he's decided, you see me, I will take the week off and hope by next week Monday when he come back that Zena forget. Right, so that is what really happened there. So who knows? Alistair Hart, good morning to you, and yeah, good morning, and of course, rest in peace, Bill Trotman, Cat Consultant, which is Tuesday morning, guys. Rest in peace to Mr. Bill Trotman. Good morning, rest in peace, Bill Trotman, and that is from Eunice, Dublin. Joyce Phillips, top of the morning to you guys. Dr. All right. Doctor, good morning to you, right? Good morning, guys. CJ from New York. My deepest condolences to the family and friends of Bill Trotman. May they find comfort, strength, and peace during this difficult time. Another legend has left us, no doubt about that, but we thank God for them. And Ingrid is saying Bill Trotman was a family friend of mine since I was a little girl. I have been in contact with him on Facebook for some years now. I am so saddened. Well, yeah, I think that's the way that we all feel this morning, getting up with that news of Bill Trotman. You know what? We thank God for the life and the good times and the music that he has shared with us. Those are things that we are always, always remember. And through his music, it will always live on. Martha Williams, good day to you. Blessed morning. Also, Doctor is back. Thank you very much, Dr. Sarat. All right. Love the good news. Thank you very much this morning. Sherwin Kerr and Juliet, good morning. To the breakfast show team and all listeners and viewers. Have a wonderful throwback Thursday. Yeah, we're gonna do that big time here on the net today. Good morning, guys. That is coming from Wayne Ramsey. Red Fryer, peace to the gods. Aaron is saying good morning. All rest in peace, Bill Trotman. Tyler also went the way of all flesh, total eclipse of the heart. I'm not understanding what's going on there, but whatever it is, thanks much, Aaron. All right. Thanks very much, Auntie Stephanie, for the update. Great. Good morning, guys, from Yokohama, Japan. So that is Manish. Good day to you. To Carla Hercules. Good morning, sweet Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, guys. That is also from Alan Reese and Black Leo. Good morning to the host and viewers. Can you guys tell me, are those UK lawyers also criminal lawyers for the Hadith's case? I guess you're talking about the lawyers that the state brought in. I don't know. Well, it's for the state, so I think it is for that situation. At least that is what we heard in the beginning. Today is Sparrow's birthday also. Yes, it is. So don't forget. So Hazel Mitchell, thank you very much. Well, music to play this morning then. All right. And Cheryl Mirage, good morning to all on the chat this morning. Okay. Let me go across. I'm switching now. Let me go across to see who's with us on the WhatsApp this morning. I know a lot of you came in very early. So where did it all start for people on the chat this morning? It started with Colin and Kelly out there in Carenage on the move very early this morning. Miss Ingrid is here also on the chat. Thank you very much, Ingrid. To Kent in Lavantel. Mr. Billy, thank you very much for showing up this morning here on Mr. Billy's in Powder Magazine. Peter Wilson in St. James. Frank out there in Aruka, CJ in New York, Archbishop Ashton Clark in Canada, Rena Budu Jennings, Alegria, Rena, right? Good morning to you. Also to Zena, and of course she's saying good morning to the Powder Puff ladies, all the beautiful people. Christu saying good morning to you. What is this you're saying here? Put me in. All right, yes, yeah, on the sideline warming up. I like that. So yeah. Also to the most miserable man on the net, Ron DeSantis Jr. Good morning to you, Virginia. Sankofa, a blessed morning to you guys. All right, so right, so that is all the greetings. So we are going to take a short break, and when I come back, if Richard is not here, I will get into the newspapers for you guys, see what is trending today. All right, so stay with us. It is now 24 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Gael TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind the beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights.
All aboard! Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early
them you's
bird
a big
tickets are
dancer.
just $200, after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumbox, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Crep, Bats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall, and Eastgate Small, and all NETT DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Halloween on the scene.
Okay, everybody, so we are back inside of the breakfast show. 20 minutes to this before the hour of 7 o'clock. And of course, yes, we have our Color Week cruise that is coming up, and we'd like you all to support us with this cruise, right? If you can support us in any which way, either by organizing your cruise and purchasing your tickets and coming down, or guess what? You could probably just buy a one or two tickets, and of course, yeah, and you could donate it to somebody else. We'll find somebody to give it to. That way you will support the cruise and support this venture that the station is doing, right? So if you're not able to attend, because I know some of you may not be able to attend directly and not into that sort of thing anymore. No problem with that. But you can still purchase a ticket to lend some support to this venture, okay? So let's see what is happening in the news today. And of course, we start with the Express. And the main feature in the Express today is Judge Hadith must wait. And the story says that if businessman Dominic Hadith is not released from prison detention soon, his health could deteriorate to the point where he suffers permanent damage or even loss of life. And that was the warning from Hadith's legal team yesterday, as he and his wife Genevieve appeared via a virtual link from prison during a Marathon High Court hearing over their continued detention under the state of emergency. I understand it was a real marathon session. I think they said it lasted over 5 hours. And it continues into next week, but I don't think it resulted in like immediate release. But the lawyers are arguing that, Mr. Hadith's medical conditions, if he is not on the right type of medication that he needs, or the probably machinery that he uses, that could cause his health to deteriorate and of course cause damage. So, but I think the court also said that they would be processing, opinions from health professionals and stuff. So let's hope all works well in that situation, right? CARICOM is mobilizing aid for Venezuela. CARICOM heads of governments are working collectively to provide humanitarian aid to Venezuela and also to Cuba. Then there's another story that says the Privy Council reserves judgment in same-sex case. And this is another thing that we have been watching for a long, long time. Let me just see if I can read a little part of it. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council has reserved judgment in a constitution challenge brought by Trinidad-born gay rights activist Jason Jones against provisions of this country's Sexual Offences Act that criminalizes consensual sexual activity between adults of the same sex. The decision, which will be delivered at a later date, will determine whether Section 13 and Section 16 of the Act, which creates the offenses of buggery and serious indecency, remain constitutionally protected under the constitutional saving law clause. So we know Mr. Jones and his team have been battling that. So we wait to see what will happen, right? So the Privy Council is reserving the judgment, so we should get that. 4 municipal cops back on duty. Firearms are still missing, and that has to do with the 4 constables of the Trinidad and Tobago Municipal Police Service, the TTMPS, who were on duty on the shift which acting corporate Anuska Eversley when she was brutally killed, while apparently the 4 individuals are back on the job. I don't know what is the state of that investigation, but when things happen, we take certain actions, and but let me leave that alone. It's a sad situation, the way how things went down there. Kamala, TNT ferry to service the region. I don't know how many of you have heard what is taking place with this particular story, but apparently, yes, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has reiterated her commitment to CARICOM as regional leaders yesterday presented a united front in improving the lives of Caribbean people and reducing the cost of living. Trinidad and Tobago will be lending support to reducing the cost of regional cargo by providing a ferry for inter-island transportation on a temporary basis. CARICOM leaders spoke about working together to reduce inflationary pressures on the region caused by the ongoing conflict in Iran. So one of the ferries that we have here will be used to help with that situation. It's a kind of test pilot project, so let's see how it works out. Search for baby floating in river. Police search watercourse near Union Park, Marabella on Wednesday evening after a woman reported that the children spotted what they believe was a newborn baby. So I think they searched, but so far they have not heard, nothing has really turned up concrete where that is concerned. I don't know what is the situation with the baby in Tobago. I imagine that we have not found that child at all so far. There's another story with Dominic Hadid, and then there's a story with a Barrackpore granny choked to death in home invasion, and then another story of a Jamaican charge with the businessman's murder. I know this is a story that was very close to Wendell and Richard, and a 25-year-old Jamaican national has been charged with the murder of a Rima businessman Sterling Francois, whose bloody body was found inside his home last month. Deandra Markland of Hollybitude Avenue, Phase 4, 2, Malabar, appeared before Master Lisa Singh Phillip in the Criminal Court North 8 on Monday. The matter was adjourned to October 30th for a status hearing. So at least somebody have been charged with that murder. That is, as I said, it's something I know was very close to the guys. Well, and I know they will be monitoring that because Sterling was a close friend of them. So that is the Express looking on and what's happening in the Guardian. In the Guardian today, no speedy trial for Hadid's. High Court judge dismisses couple's application for expedition based on health concerns. All right, so that is also in the Express, but the Guardian says that businessman Dominic shall bid for a lawsuit that based on necessity legal termination of to be expedited. Okay, Ram Logan to lead lawsuit against THA following Jets tragedy. Okay, well, I guess probably that has to do with the child that was killed, and maybe the family is now taking the THA to court. PM, no immediate move to adopt CCJ as TNT's final court of appeal. And that is where our morning poll coming from. So let me read a part of that story for you guys. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has ruled out any immediate move for Trinidad and Tobago to adopt the Criminal Court of Justice, CCJ, as its final court of appeal, even as she welcomed the regional court's impending role in resolving the dispute over the reappointment of CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. So even though that, that CARICOM issue is now going to the CCJ for a determined, Trinidad and Tobago is still not adopting it as its final court of appeal. I don't have the time to go into the entire story, but I would really like to find out, why it is that we are still pussyfooting around that issue. Motley, which is Mia Motley, TNT exploring the use of one of its ferries for inter-regional service, and it's the Barbados Prime Minister. Search underway for baby believed to be in Marabella River. That's what we were talking about a little while ago. Stakeholders support CCJ move. Let me see who are some of these stakeholders supporting the move. As CARICOM prepares to seek an advisory opinion from the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, on the process used to reappoint its Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett, some stakeholders say the move could provide long-awaited legal clarity while strengthening the regional body's governance and decision-making. The University of the West Indies, the UWI St. Augustine campus principal, Professor Rose Marie Bell Antoine, who, sorry about that, the things just keep coming up because of the amount of ads that come up in the papers, right? Professor Rosemary Bell Antoine, who previously served as Dean of the Faculty of Law, described the decision as an excellent and mature step that removes the issue from the political arena and places it before an independent court. Speaking with the Guardian Media at the office of the campus principal yesterday, Bell Antoine said, "I think it's an excellent decision and it paves the way for it to be a non-contentious issue, and one hopes that is what will be the outcome." All right, so people have great hopes for what is taking place. Cabinet ministers praise PM's leadership on CCJ referral. 20 more detained under SOE over alleged gang limits, and the TTPS defends event enforcement after Silver Stars confrontation. All right, so those are the stories in the Express and the Guardian this morning. Lots and lots of stories. All right, so let me get into our Did You Know segment, and then we'll come back, open the lines, and take your calls. Also, we will get into our morning poll.
Five plants everyone should have at home, and here's why. Lavender. It doesn't just fill your home with a pleasant aroma, it repels insects. Mosquitoes literally can't stand its scent. If you're tired of bites, just plant lavender by your window or on your balcony. Snake plant, or Sansevieria, a true interior decoration and natural air filter. Its thick leaves purify the air from toxins and improve sleep quality. English ivy, a plant that literally vacuums the air. It actively absorbs dust, mold spores, and harmful compounds, especially useful for those who suffer from allergies. Aloe vera, an essential green first aid remedy. Got a cut, burn, or skin irritation? Just break off a leaf and apply the gel. It instantly relieves pain and speeds up healing. And finally, spider plant, or chlorophytum. This is one of the best natural air purifiers. It tackles formaldehyde, carbon monoxide, and even benzene. Plus, it's safe for children and pets.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, now you know some of those plants that you have around your space. It is good for you. And if you don't have any plants, well, then you need to get a plant. That is basically what it is. If you don't have a plant, there are some plants that that are good in your homes. So you know what? Hey, get a plant, man. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we can open the lines to take your calls. 281-131-529-5156. A number of things are outside there, and of course, if you would like to join us to talk about any of them, you have an opinion on anything, now it's a good time for you to get in on the show. 281-131-529-5156, and I will put up the morning poll for you guys in a short. Hello, good morning to you, caller.
Top of the day to you, Sir Charles. Good morning. How are you, my good chap?
Good morning to you, sir. Yes. Well, I see you are recovering well, so I'm happy to see that.
I don't have the faintest of the foggiest idea what you're speaking about. But you do. We're just waiting for the the Jedi Lion Knights of jolly old England to, step up to the plate and do what is right. And then I'll go have myself a cuppa. But I won't use the word cuppa because in America, I'll get Rodney King, you know what I mean? By the cups. They were thinking I'm going after a cup when I say I'm going to get a cuppa.
Okay.
Yeah, but by the way, Wendell, I think that was a very wise decision. All you ask Sir Charles is for a day off. That is all. A week off. But really, I'm glad that it all worked out because I would have to pour bleach on both my eyeballs if you came out after losing that bet that you promised to turn up naked. I'd have to pour bleach down my eyeballs to get rid of that image imprinted in my mind. So good choice. All right. Tell you good day, sir. Cheers.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, Virginia.
My apologies, Sir Charles, for being here so late.
That's all right.
No, I was in San Fernando late last night, so that just confused everything. Good morning, by the way, to all our listeners and viewers. I went to Naprima Boys College. They had a thing called Curtain Call, which was like the last shows of a lot of the graduating class in terms of their theater curriculum, their theater group in terms of this college. So they had 2 plays last night. Alpha, which won a lot of accolades, and even toured to some festivals internationally in Canada, which was excellent. And another one called, I can't remember what was the first one called? The Understudies, or something like that. So really, really, really good stuff. I tell you, theaters in safe hands, so many young people that are excellent, and it was an excellent night out. And so a group of us from, the RR Productions team was there because we had invited them they've come to a couple of our shows because we knew they were very involved in theater and stuff. So we invited them to a couple of our shows. So this was them. The entire experience was called Curtain Call. And so we went to finally see Alpha and see the understudy and the whole project called Curtain Call. Directed by Janelle Archer-Chan, who did some excellent work at Naprima Boys College. It was really top-notch stuff. So I was in the South, even when I was answering you, when you were asking me about the pool. So this morning, I was just like, I was there.
Yeah.
So my humblest apologies.
That's okay, man. That's all right. We know it is something. I know you'll enjoy me at some point in time. Let me just take this call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard.
Zena, they bring in everything on you.
Wherever you are. Richard, that is not only that causing this sluggishness, you're enjoying this gang, Sarah gang too. Right? So don't be afraid of that part. It's there, you're moving on. Right. I just want to make one comment this morning. It's so ironic that our Prime Minister will suggest that case will update with the with the CCJ matter now with lady.
The CCJ.
It's ironic that you will want to call on them to send that case to the CCJ and all, they still don't want to join it. I find they should not have agreed to send it there because Trinidad want to be prison. And they are not a member of the CCJ. So and then still have the intention to say that is not considered to be part of it. I find that it's very strange, and I can't see that at all. So you want satisfaction from the court and all, you don't want to join it? That's all I have to say this morning. But I find that it's very strange.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, Gina.
I explained that yesterday. I don't know if people weren't listening. The Treaty of Chaguaramas, the court of original jurisdiction for the Treaty of Chaguaramas is the Caribbean Court of Justice. So anything concerning the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which is what is the foundation of the CARICOM, the establishment of CARICOM, the court that you have to go to is the Caribbean Court of Justice. So you cannot elect to go anywhere else. The CCJ that has the jurisdiction over the Treaty of Chaguaramas. So that's why, so in a sense, even if you are an island that has not acceded to the jurisdiction of the CCJ in your civil and criminal matters, for the purposes of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, everybody has to go to the CCJ if it's something concerning the Treaty of Chaguaramas. I don't know if that clears it up. So it really is very little to do with whether the island that you belong to has accepted the CCJ as the final court of appeal. Once it concerns the Treaty of Chaguaramas and the provisions of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, it's the CCJ that adjudicates on it.
Yeah. But they have explained that right. All right. But in spite of all of that, that is where our poll question is also coming from this morning.
Right. Which is a separate issue now. So do you think Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as its final court of appeal? So that's our poll for this morning. Do you think Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as its final court of appeal? That's really the substantive thing if you want to talk about the CCJ. This is now the CCJ being our final court of appeal, replacing the Privy Council.
All right, so we are going to for the news at 7 o'clock, and when we come back, we will discuss the poll, and we will take your calls on it, and other things are coming up on the other side. So stay with us on The Breakfast Show this morning. News is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. CARICOM leaders have agreed to explore using one of Trinidad and Tobago's existing ferries as a pilot project for a regional ferry service, while a permanent private sector operation is developed. At the close of the CARICOM summit in St. Lucia, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said discussions will begin with Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar and St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves on using a Trinidad ferry as a proof of concept to improve regional transport and reduce freight costs. Persad Bissessar also offered Trinidad and Tobago's National Prosthetic Center, medical personnel, and the Cuva Children's Hospital to support healthcare across the region, while leaders agreed that closer regional cooperation is key to easing the rising cost of living. A landmark legal challenge that could decriminalize same-sex relations in Trinidad and Tobago is now before the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London, with a ruling expected after Wednesday's hearing. The case was brought in 2017 by activist Jason Jones, who argues that the country's colonial-era buggery laws are unconstitutional. Representing Jones, former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan told the court that constitutional rights exist to protect every citizen, regardless of public opinion. The government is opposing the challenge, backed by the Council of Evangelical Churches and the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha. While the laws have not been enforced in recent years, supporters of the case argue they continue to fuel discrimination and stigma. A ruling by the Privy Council could have significant implications for LGBTQ rights across the Caribbean. 25-year-old Jamaican national has been charged with the murder of Arima businessman Sterling Francois, whose body was found inside his home last month. DeAndre Markland appeared before the criminal court on Monday and was remanded into custody. The case was adjourned to October 30th. Police allege Francois, 45, was killed at his home in Trestrail, Arima, where investigators found blood-stained footprints and recovered a cutlass believed to be the murder weapon. Several personal items, including his cell phone, laptop, and wallet, were also reported missing. Markland was charged following advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions after an investigation by the Homicide Bureau. The Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago is condemning the police's handling of a confrontation with members of Silver Star Steel Orchestra after Tribe's band launch, calling the reported use of force against panists disproportionate. The committee questioned why officers reportedly confronted the musicians instead of the event organizers and called for greater restraint when dealing with nonviolent civilians. It also expressed solidarity with Silver Stars and Pan Trinbago, saying the national instrument deserves respect. 5 Silver Stars players have since been charged with offenses including disorderly behavior and resisting arrest. Police say the band continued playing after the event's 2 a.m. cutoff time and that an officer was assaulted, while the band denies its members attacked police. In the region, relief efforts for earthquake-hit Venezuela continue to grow, with the Chinese community in Trinidad and Tobago donating $300,000 to support recovery efforts. The check was presented during a ceremony in Trincity by Charles Cheng, president of the China Society of Trinidad and Tobago, in the presence of the Venezuelan and Chinese ambassadors. Organizers said the donation reflects the strong historical ties between the Chinese communities in both countries and regional solidarity during the crisis. Meanwhile, Haiti has sent a humanitarian medical mission to Venezuela, deploying 29 specialist doctors and 5.5 tons of medical supplies to assist victims. The team will support emergency healthcare services in some of the areas hardest hit by the June 24 earthquakes. The conflict between the United States and Iran has intensified, with the U.S. launching a new wave of strikes after accusing Tehran of attacking commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military says it struck more than 80 targets, including air defense systems, missile sites, and military facilities. Iran says the attacks hit coastal bases and civilian locations, killing at least 8 soldiers. Iran has since launched retaliatory attacks on U.S. military sites in Bahrain and Kuwait. Both countries say the attacks were intercepted, with no reported injuries. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump warns that any further attacks on commercial shipping would trigger an even stronger U.S. response. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with new Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
Mommy, I want to go back to school. Mommy, staying home ain't too cold. I want you to understand, I need an education. I want to learn to be fun, be a Calypsonian. But what I really love the best, I want to be in school in time for recess. Lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang, we bell ringing. Oh Lord, lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang, school children running so wild in this International Year of the Child.
complete. To stand on my own 2 feet, I could learn to brush my teeth, just like on Sesame Street. But what I love in school the most as man is to stay with teacher Beulah in detention. Lang bell ringing, oh Lord. Lang school children running so wild in this international year of the child. Mommy, it's time to go to school. Mommy, I don't want to be a fool. I don't want to be a flop, to have to work with a mop. I want to be on top, to be smart when I grow up. Don't you know going back to school is a must, so I could get a free ride on the school bus. Lang bell ringing, oh Lord. Lang school children running so wild in this international year of the child. Mommy, I'm going to school right away. Mommy, school is closing today. I don't want to miss the test, I have to be a success. Got to be there with all the rest, to help when they make a mess. The only time that I won't make a fuss is when you send me back to school in August. Lang bell ringing, oh Lord. Lang school children running so wild in this international year of the child.
Put in that command, and of course you're able to find us, right? I give you 2 songs today inside of this area because one, the first one of Bill Trotman, Mommy, I want to go back to school. I know you all remember that well, as we celebrate the life and passing of Bill Trotman. Yesterday he passed, and at age 92. So we say thank you very much, Bill Trotman, for the music. Great Calypsonian. And also the one in the background of the Mighty Sparrow, who today turns 91.
Please let me explain.
Guys in their 90s, so we have to salute these heroes. They won't be with us forever.
I don't want to misunderstand.
So remember them. So Bill Trotman, gone, will never be forgotten. And of course the Mighty Sparrow, happy birthday, okay?
Woman, you catch me winning.
So our morning poll, we're asking you, in spite of everything that you're hearing now, do you think that Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as our final court of appeal? You're voting yes or you're voting no? If you're voting yes, you're voting 1. If you're saying no, you are voting 2. When we come back after the break, we'll tell you how you voted. But in the meantime, don't forget, August the 15th, we are going cruising.
Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on NETT Radio Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs: Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200. After $200 $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Crep, Fats International in Arima, Kiss Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Mall, and all net DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. Net Radio, Halloween, Hula Cruise. Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Halloween, on the scene.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Gael TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind the beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights.
So we are back after that short break, and news on that short break. And of course, you're watching The Breakfast Show on NETT Radio Trinidad, just in case you didn't know. Just in case. No. And netradiott.com. You know, I had to think about it there momentarily.
Yeah, you have to. Let me tell you, Richard, one time, Zina said yesterday that, well, she did tell me that she fell asleep yesterday in between the show. And then she got up to listen to the show yesterday. And on our that good news that we played yesterday, it came out of CBS and blocked part of the channel, you know. So she was not able to hear what you explained now about the CCG.
Oh, okay.
So,
right.
So don't wash you up.
No, I wasn't going for her particularly. I was just saying that, you know, I was just re-emphasizing why it would have been CCJ.
Yeah, but that's a very important thing for people to understand. I don't think people would have understood it that way, but it was very important to reiterate, what was really happening and why it got there, why it had to go.
Yeah.
What I don't understand. I don't know if the actual suggestion of itself, if it came from our Prime Minister to carry it there, or if it was from CARICOM of themselves suggested.
Well, obviously it was a discussed position. It's not clear on who suggested it first. Maybe the Prime Minister brought it up. But obviously it was a position on which the CARICOM heads eventually all agreed in terms of getting some resolve to the impasse, because it is an impasse that has grown more and more combative in terms of the stance of our Prime Minister. And I know for many Trinidadians, we didn't understand why. We were like, well, what's this about? We were speculating that because when she was opposition leader and she had sent whatever complaint and it wasn't replied to, because she brought up that as one of her first speeches before CARICOM under this her current this second iteration of her leading the country, right? And she brought that up and said that CARICOM should also give a voice to opposition leaders, or they should be present at certain things. I think that's what she said. So it has been and then she said things like, they're not what I want to misquote. CARICOM is not reliable. They're not a reliable
partner at this
partner for different things. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago basically stood alone at times with their unwavering support of the US in certain things, and certainly in terms of the war on drugs in the international / national waters.
Yeah, it will be
there
interesting.
there obviously was some tension. There was obviously some tension between Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of CARICOM, because you saw it play out right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, if it was a situation where, although the news did say that, I saw in one of the newspaper, the headline was, Kamala gets her way, but I don't know if she got her way by her raising it, or if one of the other regional leaders may have raised it and say, fellas, this thing giving too much trouble. Let's go and get that advice from the CCJ and we will deal with it then.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure who actually raised it first, but CARICOM agreed that was the approach. Yeah. And I think that's the importance, that obviously CARICOM is trying to get past the issue and felt, well, okay, let's deal with it this way, as a way of getting some sort of advisory opinion on it. And obviously, you also get the impression too that the Prime Minister is more comfortable. This is my opinion, that she's more comfortable with the leadership of Prime Minister Pierre, in terms of as the chairman of CARICOM. Is it the chair? He sits in the chair now. Yeah, Prime Minister Pierre. She seems more comfortable with him. That's how it comes across to me.
Yeah. But I see the Professor Rosemary Bell Antoine in one of the stories in the Express was saying, that she felt that taking it to the CCJ was a good move, and it would take away the political baggage, more or less, for want of a better word, that was, overshadowing all that was taking place. So yeah. So let's see. We just have to wait and see. All right. So let's get back to the poll, our morning poll. And,
so do you think Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as its final court of appeal? That's our poll this morning.
Yeah.
So you can vote yes, vote 1, and 2 vote and for no, vote 2. So if you agree that it should be the final court of appeal, you vote 1. If you think no, it should not yet, vote 2. So that there are mixed opinions on that, even in the legal fraternity here. There are mixed opinions on that. And of course, Jamaica is also one of the standouts in acceding to the CCJ as the final court of appeal. Barbados has acceded as well. Yeah, Barbados has, Ghana has, and a couple of the other islands have so far. So, but the two major standouts, if you're looking at the larger islands, of course, is Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. So yeah, you see how all of that plays out. And interestingly enough, you also have a case before the Privy Council that went before the Privy Council yesterday with Anna Logan leading the case for the applicant, which is Jason Jones, in terms of LGBTQ rights in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, those there was a decision by, I think it was Justice Frank C. Prasad and the High Court that, legalized the sexual relations between same-sex couples, etc., which has been illegal via pretty much an archaic British law that was then, there was a Sexual Offences Act that kind of rehashed it and actually went further in terms of the law. And that was shut down as a constitutional infringement by Justice C. Prasad. The state appealed it. It went to the Court of Appeal. And in a 2-1 decision, it was not unanimous, 2 of the judges decided that it should, that that overturned the High Court decision. One judge dissented. And of course, it's now been appealed to the Privy Council. And of course, one of the major issues there is the saving law clause, because, which we have discussed on this program before, that when they did the first constitution, we have the saving law clause, which saved all laws that existed prior to 1962 and prior to the new constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, that even if they infringed on the constitutional protections in the new constitution, that those laws will still be saved and will still be operational, even though they infringed on those constitutional protections. And of course, in terms of LGBTQ rights, the constitutional protections would be things like right to privacy, your right to family life, your own type of family life, and how family is now construed in 2026. And so all of those things became, so Anna Logan is actually representing Jason Jones as at least one of the attorneys. I don't know if there are multiple attorneys, but he's certainly one of the attorneys representing Jason Jones and seeking to overturn the Court of Appeal decision in the Privy Council. That case was heard by the Privy Council yesterday, and they have reserved judgment, and it will, I don't know when the judgment will be, but whatever the Privy Council decides will be I think it will take a couple of months before you know what that decision is. But certainly LGBTQ activists in the Caribbean region are looking at the decision, because it may have implications also for other islands. Now, strangely enough, this is another strange corollary to it. In terms of the Western Hemisphere, there are only 5 countries that still have LGBTQ issues as being illegal in terms of homosexual acts between consenting adults. And the 5 countries that still have it as being illegal are Jamaica, Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and I think St. Vincent. All other islands in the Caribbean have already adjusted their laws, except for those 5. And these are the 5 holdouts, so to speak, in the Western Hemisphere. Isn't that incredible? So this judgment would depending on how it goes, would have implications, 1, on the savings law clause, and 2, on the issue of LGBTQ rights in the remaining countries in the Caribbean that have not addressed it. And Jason Jones made a point yesterday, because I saw some English reports on it, and one of the things that he said was, because this case has been going on for a while, I think close to 10 years, And one of the points he made was that the government of Trinidad and Tobago didn't have to appeal, okay, and it didn't have to reach to the point of the Privy Council, and it actually, in a sense, is costing the state and taxpayers millions of dollars just to get to this point. It's saying for what? For something that, you know, most countries in the Western Hemisphere have already addressed. So we will see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
But that's incidentally kind of a discussion, because that's the Privy Council, and our poll this morning as well. Should the CCJ be the final court of appeal against the backdrop of this latest case, which is making international news on the Privy Council? We could have Jason Jones come onto the program maybe sometime next week, I guess, to discuss how he felt it went and stuff like that. Because he has appeared on the program before.
Yeah. Well, let's people, we can take your calls to 811-315-299-5156, so you can get in on the conversation. The poll is up. Do you think that it's time that we?
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
With the Privy Council and make the CCJ our final call.
Final court of appeal. As we wait for calls to come in, do you know, Sir Charles, there's another story happening internationally that's curiouser, as Alice in Wonderland would have said, because Nolan Wells, a football player who is black, in Mississippi, went out on July 4th with white friends, to an island which is one of the remote shorelines in Mississippi called Horn Island. They spent July the 4th there. They came back to the mainland, let's call it the mainland, without Nolan. They say that he wanted to stay on the island. This is remote, by the way. The family reports him missing. They found a body which they believe is Nolan's body, and the family has now retained Ben Crump, who's a well-known civil rights attorney, to manage their affairs in looking into the matter. So of course, social media is ablaze with people's theories on what exactly happened, and I saw one where they're saying that all of the boys, white, who went with him and came back.
What was friends who? I suppose those are his friends you're talking about, right?
His friends.
Yeah.
Wow. And they're saying that one report that I saw on an Asian guy who has a page that's following the issues, because he was also part Asian, and he was referencing something that happened to an Asian girl, I think just a couple of years ago, which was under same circumstances, where she was in Guatemala with her white friends, ends up dead, and the white friend who's, you've seen all kind of pictures with them hugging up, saying, oh, she didn't know her that well. And you know, and so he's kind of making comparisons. Of course, social media, as I said, is ablaze with all manner of theories, and the authorities are trying their best to say, wait, let's investigate. But nope. So the mere idea that the family has retained Ben Crump, it tells you the direction in which it's going. And in that same report from that Asian guy, he's saying that the guys who, and the friends who were with him, they've deleted their social media accounts and deleted all the footage of whatever happened on the island.
Yeah.
But that video apparently has surfaced with enhanced audio that the authorities are still have not confirmed whether it's legitimate or authentic or not. But a video has emerged where you can apparently where there's an argument taking place. So all of that is fueling speculation on social media. So that Noel Wells story.
Yeah, to know that in this day and age we are still going through that here, and the lengths.
So I mean, we're not sure exactly what happened, but certainly social media is going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, unless he was eaten by a whale,
And they were saying, and so people saying, how could he choose to stay back on a remote island?
Yeah.
And they can't find his phone.
Yeah, boy. So everything wrong with that story. Everything wrong with that story. I mean, it's ripe for speculation. You know, hey, people, we take all the calls in the world. All the phone asleep on us this morning, or?
All right, yes, we're taking calls. We could talk about the morning poll or anything else. Oh, the morning poll results are up.
Yeah.
So let me just get the results. So the morning poll, do you think Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as its final court of appeal? 95% of you said yes. 95% of you said yes, of those of you who chose to vote this morning. 95% of you said yes, and 5% of you said no. So 95% of you said yes, and 5% of you have said no.
All right. And that's
the results for our poll this morning. Do you think Trinidad and Tobago should now accept the CCJ as its final court of appeal? Overwhelmingly, of course, people voting this morning said yes, they should.
All right.
But yes, this is the opportunity for you to now call in, and you can talk about whatever, you know. It doesn't have to be restricted to the poll. So 281-1315, 281-1315, or 299-5156. 299-5156.
All right, we have a caller there. Caller, good morning to you.
Hi, guys. Morning.
Hi, Carol.
Good morning.
I am still trying to get to something. So I haven't forgotten.
Okay, no problem, Carol.
Good. And the other thing, Richard, I wanted your opinion. I haven't heard you all mention it on the issue with the.
Carol, you're breaking up. I don't know if you could just change your location a little bit.
I didn't hear your question, Carol.
Yes,
I just said you want my opinion on, and I didn't hear what else you said after that.
You hearing me better now?
We're trying. Go ahead.
Right. And the situation with Mbappe and the Portuguese.
The Argentinian, the Paraguayan senator.
It's Paraguay. Right. I wanted Richard's opinion on that issue.
No, but I mean, she was absolutely, the senator was absolutely out of place. Okay, and she was racist in what she said about Mbappe. And, you know, and when I know he had responded, I don't know if you know the context of it, Sir Charles.
No, actually, I don't.
Yeah, so when Paraguay was defeated by France, one of the senators in Paraguay said some very disparaging things about Mbappe because he had scored the goal and I think France won 1-0, and about his Cameroonian stock, and she said some very disparaging stuff about him. Mm-hmm. And he subsequently replied, but it obviously read as very racist. And there was immediate backlash. Even the UNHCR commented on it. So there was international backlash concerning the issue. And Mbappe responded, and she tried to backtrack, and then she wanted to say she wanted an apology for what Mbappe said to her. And Mbappe hasn't said anything since then but it was a senator.
Yeah.
So it caused the furor. It was the furor. I don't know how you don't know about it, because it was
right now
all over social media with regard to that what that senator said. I'll see if I can pull up what exactly she said.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Wow. Interesting. Mr. Billy, good morning.
Morning. Thanks for taking my call. I realize that one of the wise men is missing in action. I hate to leave that there. I just want to say that my position is that we should maintain the Privy Council or final court. I say that to say that I find that this we are living in our society is too close knitted, where everybody might have gone to university with this one weapons, the CCJ. And I have some concern too, where everybody's in a boys club. everybody know each other, and I feel they mightn't get a really partial ruling. So I still feel, let's go, as we say in layman terms, let's go back into the white people who don't know nobody down here, and who will give a real independent ruling. I still favor that. That is my personal honesty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And that's actually a view of some members of the legal fraternity too.
Yeah.
So this has been an ongoing, debate for years and years and years, and of course some advocates against the death penalty have wondered whether the CCJ would be a hanging court, and the CCJ has, in some of its previous heads, have actively pushed back against that and said you can't assume that. They are judges of repute who will, adjudicate on the law on the basis of what comes before them. And so it's been so that has been a long-standing dispute and differing opinions on that.
Don't we also have judges also within the CCJ who have sat on the Privy Council also?
In the CCJ, I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure who the judges right now on the CCJ.
Yeah, I don't know who they are right now, but I think I remember that there are some of them. I can't remember where the argument was going back and forth a few years ago, that it was also said that we have people who have also sat at the Privy Council at that level too on the CCJ. So it's
really your confidence in the independence of the judges who sit on that CCJ. And has the Caribbean yielded stellar judges? Absolutely it has. And I think they also have judges from other Commonwealth countries that also sit on the CJJ too. So it's not just restricted to Caribbean judges at all.
Okay, hold 1 minute, Richard. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. I just want... Richard is a lawyer. I just want to get a little clarity on something here. This kind of, I don't know what is the position, right? But I listened yesterday. I don't know if that is unprecedented or not. But in the Hadid case, right? Yesterday, the lawyer for the state was Gerald Ramlin. I can't remember sitting like a chairman of a state corporation or something, so still getting legal brief. Is that ever happened before?
That I am not sure of. I can't answer you with any degree of certainty. I can't answer that with any degree of certainty. Maybe it has happened before, but I can't answer it. That entire case is so. That entire case is troubling from different perspectives, and I know a lot of people just reading on social media. I think a lot of people are either charged or released. That you can't just detain people till September and have no legitimate charge against them. And so I think all of that is in the mix too. But as the fundamental question, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, what already concerning me is that I watch a holistic thing, right? I don't have nothing against Gerald Ramlin or anything, but he's chairman of a key state enterprise. NGC is a very easy chairman. We want all this effort and energy and things to focus on the function and running of NGC. That's a key pillar of the economy. We really at this stage we really dependent on that. And then now, I follow the case a little closer to find out now. The defendant lawyer, the defense lawyer. Guess who is the defense lawyer? Faris Al-Rari. So is it a political kind of gimmick thing going on? Everything politics and all that?
Maybe one of the defense attorneys, but Douglas Mendes, senior counsel, is certainly the lead attorney in for the Hadid's case, because Douglas Mendes is the one they're quoting as making a lot of the arguments. So senior counsel Douglas Mendes is certainly their lead attorney. I don't know if Faris Al-Rari is part of the.
I saw Faris Al-Rari there. it's a political game. Anyway, I sit back and
yeah. But not only that, the state has now hired also two, according to news reports, has hired 2 additional attorneys out of the UK. So this reads very troubling to me. In a very troubling way, because what is all of this additional resources being expended on additional UK attorneys coming in for this case? You know, it's weird, and in addition to which, they have not yet been charged. As far as we are aware, they have not been charged, because if they are charged, it means that you will go before the court system and you could apply for bail. And that has not happened. So all of these are all preliminary applications about the legality of the PDO and the detention without charge under an SOE. It's a very troubling situation. Now it's being highlighted because of who they are. But of course, this has happened to other people, because there was one guy who under the last PDO before wasn't news about how dramatically it has changed his life, and he was never charged with anything. So it's a troubling issue. That's how the entire situation is playing out. From what was said in Parliament to what eventually happened, and the resources that the state is pouring into bringing in UK attorneys to deal with this matter of people who have not yet even been charged. I don't know if people don't find that troubling. I find it highly troubling. What exactly is going on? It's not like the DPP is taking the lead and saying, okay, we are going to represent the state in this matter, because the DPP, I suppose, can't take any lead yet because there's been no charge. So it's really an argument about the PDO's the efficacy of a preventative detention order within a state of emergency, and the rights of people detained. I suppose that's a lot of what the argument is at this point, right? And the state is really being very robust in terms of spending resources to argue against the Hadiths. Now, of course, the Hadiths are resourced, but they're entitled, as I always say, and that has been my consistent position on matters, let the courts decide. Take matters before the court so that those lines are clear legally, which can sometimes be blurry in terms of having some sort of direction from what the court says. And so the judicial review of the decision of the state is up. I think it's supposed, that case is supposed to start on July 27th. All of these applications to bring it up and making more urgent applications. And the state certainly made the defense of the Hadid certainly made arguments that Dominic Hadid is and his medical conditions make this even more urgent. So I don't know. I find this case is. We'll see where it goes.
All right, people. So we are taking your calls. 2811-315-129-95156 for those who just fall off the line. The Caribbean Court of Justice is made up of judges across the Commonwealth. It's not just a Trinidad and Tobago thing. I get the feeling some people feel it's just a Trinidad and Tobago thing.
No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely.
And it has been there. I don't know exactly how many years it has been there now, but I think, coming out of, since this has been there, I have not really heard. But have you heard like anything controversial coming out of it that makes you feel that the system is not working, Richard?
No. They've had a lot of recent judgments. We have actually introduced we have actually interviewed the head of the court at one time in our previous iteration. In terms of the CCJ, but no, they have we have links to the CCJ in terms of if we wanted to get interviews actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think we could explore those interviews in terms of speaking to somebody from the court. But no, they have had a lot of recent judgments for matters that have come before it, because, as I said, quite a few of the CARICOM countries have acceded. There, as I said, there are certain major holdouts, but they haven't ceded. So you have a lot of interesting cases going before it. But let me just give the concerning what Carol would have brought up. Paraguayan Senator Celeste Amarilla is at the center of international attention following racist insults she directed at French soccer captain Kylian Mbappe. The remarks posted on social media after France's World Cup victory over Paraguay have triggered a Paris prosecutor investigation, official condemnation from the Paraguayan government, and an angry response from the player. The controversy centers on Senator Celeste Amarilla, a 61-year-old member of Paraguay's authentic radical liberal party, following a bruising round of 16 World Cup match on Saturday, July 4th, 2026, where France defeated Paraguay 1-0 in Philadelphia. Amarilla published heavily racist remarks across her social media accounts. Her posts described Mbappe as a colonized Cameroonian attempting to pass as French and insulted his appearance and education. Kylian Mbappe's response, Mbappe quickly fired back on social media, labeling her a despicable woman who is unworthy of your position and does not represent the country of Paraguay. He noted that her comments detracted from the historic effort displayed by the Paraguayan national team during the tournament. The Paraguayan government, alongside President Santiago Peña, officially distanced themselves from the senator, deploring her remarks as contrary to human dignity. Following an official complaint by the French Football Federation, Paris prosecutors opened an investigation into the senator for possible aggravated public insult and incitement to hatred or violence. The Paraguayan Senate overwhelmingly approved a majority motion in Philadelphia, formally condemning the senator's discriminatory remarks. So that's the kind of a brief synopsis of what would have happened.
Yeah. For 1 minute. Caller, good morning.
Good morning again. Thank you, Richard, for explaining that thing so clearly again. Sir Charles, and thank you for defending me. Listen, hear what? You see, this stupid racist thing won't finish until there's a serious effort to educate people about race. You understand? A Chinese scientist, a scientist from China did a experiment, and he went into I have the video, and he went into cold sweat when he realized he himself, Chinese as well, including all other races, they are nukes of the African race. He said he went into cold sweat when he saw that, because he did an experiment with black and white angelfish. So, and yet he went on to explain all that what was found, and the substances that he found in the fish that caused the stripes to fade. And those are the same substances that you find in people of like Asian people and English people and all that, white people. So I don't know when people really realize it, the origin of humanity and where they come from. People must stop being so foolish about this thing. And that is the same reason why we didn't have some people in the we joining the CCJ, you know, it was a racist issue too. Remember that the people reviving the saying from Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, where, and I don't know if Dr. Rowie and how much they pushed it, but their pushback was that it didn't have any Indian judges in the CCJ at the time. But now that because Dr. Rowling never had a majority, so now that they have a majority, all they could agree, all they don't have to wait for the other side to agree. And that is where that problem came in, because when you raise something and you have to take it further, you have to get the agreement of the opposition. But they don't have to do that now. And she's the one who didn't want to make the comment. But now I think the head of it is an Indian. I from the last I read, person who retired and who take over and so they may be in favor of it now. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they have said that they're not interested in that right
It's a lot of reasons came up, and that was one. So that was the main one. Somebody, I see it raised again on social media. They're flashing what she said.
Yeah,
the video and the time she said it and the reason why.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah, thanks much. Yeah. The thing about it is that where even if that was a reason for Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know if that was the main reason as to why we are not there. But what about all the other countries who are not there? What about the Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, and all those other people? I don't know if their reasoning will be the same. I'm sure everybody has different reasons, but there are quite a bit of people who are still not there as yet also. So I don't know, but the debate continues, But I think given the fact that for the time that it has been there, what we are seeing coming out of it, I can't understand really actually why people are so hesitant now. I think it's tried, it's being tested, and so far, to me, it seems to be holding up strong. All right, so we are going for the news at 8 o'clock, Richard. So I catch you on the other side of it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Just one thing. The president of the CC, president of the court, is the Honorable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson. He's the president. He's of Jamaican nationality and upbringing. He was born in 1960 in St. Anne's Bay, St. Anne's. So he is a member of the court, the Honorable Madam Justice Maureen Rajnath Lee. So she's also a member of the CCJ. Good morning, Justice Rajnath Lee. And we also have the Honorable Mr. Justice Dennis Barrow from Belize, and the Honorable Mr. Justice Peter Jamada from Trinidad and Tobago.
That was a very prominent name. You said
Onyawu, who is an attorney at law with over 20 years experience. I'm not so sure where she's from. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but you have a wide cross sections of individuals.
Osuji. So those are.
Yeah.
Next.
All right. Okay. Cool. I thought you froze at some point in time there. No. We are going for the news, and stay with us here on The Breakfast Show on NETT Radio.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. CARICOM leaders have agreed to explore using one of Trinidad and Tobago's existing ferries as a pilot project for a regional ferry service, while a permanent private sector operation is developed. At the close of the CARICOM summit in St. Lucia, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said discussions will begin with Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar and St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves on using a Trinidad ferry as a proof of concept to improve regional transport and reduce freight costs. Persad Bissessar also offered Trinidad and Tobago's National Prosthetic Center, medical personnel, and the Kuva Children's Hospital to support healthcare across the region, while leaders agreed that closer regional cooperation is key to easing the rising cost of living. A landmark legal challenge that could decriminalize same-sex relations in Trinidad and Tobago is now before the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London, with a ruling expected after Wednesday's hearing. The case was brought in 2017 by activist Jason Jones, who argues that the country's colonial-era buggery laws are unconstitutional. Representing Jones, former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan told the court that constitutional rights exist to protect every citizen, regardless of public opinion. The government is opposing the challenge, backed by the Council of Evangelical Churches and the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha. While the laws have not been enforced in recent years, supporters of the case argue they continue to fuel discrimination and stigma. A ruling by the Privy Council could have significant implications for LGBTQ rights across the Caribbean. 25-year-old Jamaican national has been charged with the murder of Arima businessman Sterling Francois, whose body was found inside his home last month. DeAndre Markland appeared before the criminal court on Monday and was remanded into custody. The case was adjourned to October 30th. Police allege Francois, 45, was killed at his home in Trestrail, Arima, where investigators found blood-stained footprints and recovered a cutlass believed to be the murder weapon. Several personal items, including his cell phone, laptop, and wallet, were also reported missing. Markland was charged following advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions after an investigation by the Homicide Bureau. The Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago is condemning the police's handling of a confrontation with members of Silver Star Steel Orchestra after Tribe's band launch, calling the reported use of force against panists disproportionate. The committee questioned why officers reportedly confronted the musicians instead of the event organizers and called for greater restraint when dealing with nonviolent civilians. It also expressed solidarity with Silver Stars and Pan Trinbago, saying the national instrument deserves respect. 5 Silver Stars players have since been charged with offenses including disorderly behavior and resisting arrest. Police say the band continued playing after the event's 2 a.m. cutoff time and that an officer was assaulted, while the band denies its members attacked police. In the region, relief efforts for earthquake-hit Venezuela continue to grow, with the Chinese community in Trinidad and Tobago donating $300,000 to support recovery efforts. The check was presented during a ceremony in Trincity by Charles Cheng, president of the China Society of Trinidad and Tobago, in the presence of the Venezuelan and Chinese ambassadors. Organizers said the donation reflects the strong historical ties between the Chinese communities in both countries and regional solidarity during the crisis. Meanwhile, Haiti has sent a humanitarian medical mission to Venezuela, deploying 29 specialist doctors and 5.5 tons of medical supplies to assist victims. The team will support emergency healthcare services in some of the areas hardest hit by the June 24 earthquakes. The conflict between the United States and Iran has intensified, with the U.S. launching a new wave of strikes after accusing Tehran of attacking commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military says it struck more than 80 targets, including air defense systems, missile sites, and military facilities. Iran says the attacks hit coastal bases and civilian locations, killing at least 8 soldiers. Iran has since launched retaliatory attacks on U.S. military sites in Bahrain and Kuwait. Both countries say the attacks were intercepted, with no reported injuries. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump warns that any further attacks on commercial shipping would trigger an even stronger U.S. response. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with new Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Welcome to Inside the Net on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio. Our daily insights as we count down the journey to FIFA World Cup 2026. Here is today's insight.
Records are made to be broken. At least that's what we often hear in sports. But the FIFA World Cup has produced achievements so extraordinary that some have stood for decades, surviving generation after generation of the world's greatest footballers. As the game has evolved, tactics have changed, and athletes have become faster and stronger, some World Cup records still seem almost untouchable. One of the most remarkable belongs to Germany's Miroslav Klose. Across 4 FIFA World Cups, Klose scored an astonishing 16 goals, making him the tournament's all-time leading goal scorer. Many great strikers have tried to reach that mark, but doing so requires not only exceptional talent, but consistency over multiple tournaments and the good fortune of staying healthy for more than a decade. Another incredible achievement belongs to Brazil's Pelé, who remains the only player to win 3 FIFA World Cup titles. He first lifted the trophy as a 17-year-old in 1958, before adding 2 more winners' medals in 1962 and 1970. Generations of football's greatest players have followed, yet none has matched that remarkable accomplishment. Then there is Mexico's Antonio Carvajal, whose record of appearing in 5 consecutive World Cups stood alone for many years. Before being matched by legends including Lothar Matthäus, Gianluigi Buffon, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Andrés Guardado, and Guillermo Ochoa. Even so, reaching 5 World Cups demands extraordinary longevity, fitness, and dedication. Some records belong not to individuals, but to nations. Brazil remains the only country to have appeared in every FIFA World Cup since 1930. Through changing generations, different styles of football, and fierce global competition, the Seleção have remained a constant presence. And then there is the trophy itself. 5 nations have won it more than once. But only Brazil has lifted the FIFA World Cup 5 times, a record every football powerhouse continues to chase. As FIFA World Cup 2026 approaches, new records will certainly be created. Young stars will emerge. Veterans will add to their legacies, and new champions will dream of making history. But some achievements are so extraordinary that they may stand for generations to come, because the greatest World Cup records are more than statistics. They are milestones that define football history. This has been Inside the Net, Road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Join us again for another World Cup Insight as we continue the journey to football's biggest stage.
You've been listening to Inside the Net as we count down the journey to FIFA World Cup 2026 on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
All aboard! Calling all you NETT Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us for NETT Radio Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hard Cuts Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite NETT DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200, after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Pats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Mall, and all NETT DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. NETT Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Halloween on the sea.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Are you a business owner? Well, take advantage of NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV Christmas in July advertising special. Throughout the month of July, enjoy 33% off all advertising packages. Whether you are micro, small, medium, or large business, now is the perfect time to put your product and service in front of the people who matter. Reach your audience through radio, television, and social media, all at 33% off. Don't miss this limited Christmas in July offer. Call us today at 281-1315 or 299-5156 and let NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV help you grow your business. But hurry, this special offer ends July 31st. It's Christmas in July on NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
Get ready.
The road to football's biggest stage starts right here on NETT Radio and Gael TV. Join us for Inside the Net, the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. Every weekday, take a journey through World Cup history, legendary players, unforgettable goals, football's greatest nations, rising stars, iconic stadiums, and the stories behind the beautiful game. From Brazil to Argentina, Germany to France, and every nation chasing football glory. Join us daily at 7:55 a.m. and 11:55 a.m. Don't just watch the World Cup, live the passion. Inside the Net, road to FIFA World Cup 2026 Insights. All right, everybody, and of course, good morning to you once again. Welcome back to the breakfast show here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio. It is NETT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. Welcome you back inside our final hour, and we look forward to hanging out with you. Coming up in a short, we will be talking with Dirk Barnes, and we look at your vehicles protection. And Dirk will join us in a little bit to talk about how do we care for these vehicles that we spend so much money on, and just park it up and then somebody goes with it. But just before we get there, let me just let you all know, a couple minutes I have, that our Cooler Cruise is coming up on the 15th of August. We want everybody to come out and enjoy our Cooler Cruise. It's going to be a fantastic ride. We are boarding at 7 p.m., sailing at 8 p.m. from Hartscott in Chagaramas, which is right down by the cove. And we will be entertained by the DJs on the net. So, of course, yes, Sir Charles, together with Selector CJ, Mr. Flavor, DJ Ducks International, RJ, and DJ Flockman. That's our entertainment lineup. And of course, DJ Timeless is also going to join us in between there. So make sure you get your tickets. If you want to be on board, remember our early bird tickets are just $200. And guess what? Can't get them now because they are moving. We want you to be on board with us. Come and hang out with the breakfast crew. Come and hang out with all our presenters and DJs. And we look forward to spending time with you all here. It's our first major event on the net. So come out, get your tickets, and be there. Now you can pick up your tickets at Crosby's in St. James, Rumbox in St. James, Bobby's Bar in Currap, Fats International in Arima, and K Squared Fashions. K Squared is located at Eastgate Mall. They also have another location at West Mall and C3 Center in San Fernando. Right? Remember, no glass bottles allowed, but You can put everything else in your cooler. Remember, we lime in, drinking, right down till we lie down. All right. So that's the color we cruise. And remember, it is pre-independence. So we are talking about a little bit of red, white, and black. You can mix and match it and just look nice, and come on out and let's have a fantastic, fun ride on board the Island Royalty. Right. But you make sure whatever you do, you get your tickets, and you get your tickets now. All right, so this is where we hook up with Dirk Bonds, and of course it is going in 60 seconds. Somehow I feel these guys moving faster than that these days, but it just goes to show how when it comes to vehicle protection and theft, you have to be so careful. So Dirk, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, and good morning to all your listeners this morning. I'm doing well, and how are you doing?
Actually, I'm pretty well, I'm pretty well. When I look at the situation of theft of vehicles and protection of your vehicles, for my daughter, she has one of these aqua cars, and they broke into the vehicle while she was sleeping, took the battery. Apparently, that is what they're hunting these days, and gone, I sense the frustration in her, and people they just don't know what to do anymore.
It's ridiculous outside there, but the technology now has become so easily available for these car thieves that they are able to move with vehicles quickly. They know exactly what they're going to do. With all these power tools they have now, they could take your battery out really quickly. They could strip down a car in less than an hour. Completely stripped down to bone. So these guys are equipping themselves, and unfortunately, Trinbagonians, we behave as though God is a treaty. So we don't realize that we too have to keep up with the times and start to look at putting different types of countermeasures and stuff in our vehicles, because you spend all that money for a car and then not to have it and still paying the loan and all that kind of stuff on it. That's just ridiculous.
It is really frustrating. And I would have thought that as the technology improves and car dealers, manufacturers, with all of these new model vehicles coming, they would have been putting things in place to make it more difficult for car thieves, but apparently it is not so.
No, the thing is, the manufacturers and stuff, they develop all sorts of new technology to try to curb, motor vehicle theft. And this is globally. Yeah, this is not just the Caribbean or Trinidad or anything like that. Globally, all the countries have been battling with theft. In some countries, they look at theft as something that is inevitable, so they have great insurance packages. But when you're dealing with Caribbean countries where, acquiring a car is now almost like a privilege, because you have to go through all sorts of hoops to purchase a vehicle, go through a long process for loans and being able to come down with down payments and all these different things, you would want to think that there should be some kind of technology that prevent that car from being stolen. And the interesting part is, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe the technology that exists today was effective. But I can tell you that right now it isn't. Take, for example, push-button start on vehicles. We were under the assumption that once there's a push-button start and there was no key, you could keep your key in the pocket. You have to get your key to be able to start your car and drive off. And I will say almost, 5-10 years ago, I would tell people that it's very difficult for them to steal a car with push a start and that kind of thing. That was 10 years ago. But now I want to echo and say, listen, your push button start is more vulnerable than a person with an ordinary key. All right, it is so easy to steal a vehicle that is push button start now that when we go in more into this show, I will start to talk about the methods and what these car thieves are doing and some of the things that consumers or clients or vehicle owners have to consider when they move about to their vehicle.
But Dirk, and you're so right, because when I got my vehicle and it was push start, I felt so good and so safe with it. I really felt, I said, okay, well, if they had to thief this car now, they had actually hold me to get to thief this car. So I'm wondering, with all these push button starts and
if they're actually safe, and if they are, why are some of these vehicles becoming more attractive, targets for these thieves? And what should owners do? What should we know about protecting them?
All right. Well, first, let's understand the context here. Motor vehicle larceny, theft, the motor vehicle industry is a big industry. After the drug trade, this is the next one. There's so much money passing through automotive sale that, there are companies that legitimately blow up almost overnight. So when you have, vehicles being stolen and traded and sold and stripped down for parts, and the parts are being sold, it's a big industry. Now, let me give you a story. Imagine a person having a Honda City, goes to the car wash like they typically do. They reach at the car wash, they were told to have a seat. They have a seat. The person who's washing the car washes the car, starts to vacuum the inside, sits in the inside, wiping down the dashboard. Everything is finished. Normally the car is clean. You hand them you pay them, they hand you your key, all that kind of stuff, and you drive off. 2 or 3 weeks later, 2 or 3 months later, your car is gone, disappeared. They want to know how they did that. Mm-hmm. When you check, you realize that there's no glass on the ground. The car is never recovered. Footage shows that the person just showed up, opened your door, jumped in, drive away, and you're gone, and you are dumbfounded because you have all your keys. But let's rewind. At the time of that car being stolen, while you were sitting down there on your phone, and the keys was inside the vehicle, that person pulled out a little device, plugged it into your onboard diagnostic port while nobody was looking, programmed his own key, put everything back in his pocket, continued cleaning, and he had his own key. Your car would have had a GPS tracking device installed inside of it by that same guy, a little temporary device, so he knows where you're living and all that kind of stuff. And, he operated like everything was cool. And when you least expect it, he comes with that key and he drives away with your vehicle. That's simple. That is the technology that's available to these guys right now. And it's not hard for them to get. Anybody could go on Amazon and just purchase an onboard diagnostic programmer. It's that simple. All you need is a credit card. And it's not going to be flagged by customs because these are legitimate tools that are used by mechanics and key programmers and dealerships. Everybody purchases these things. Mm-hmm. So that is the simplicity of how they can steal a car. No longer do they have to come and break a glass and come and hotwire the vehicle and plot wires and destroy the vehicle. And you know the real frightening part? They could take that vehicle, change the license plate, and park it right in front of a police station. And police officers will pass that whole day, see it there, and never suspect that it was stolen because there's no evidence of anything being tampered with inside of the vehicle. That is how unique this particular process is. So while we are rolling around thinking I could get a GPS next week, or loot month end, or loot for Christmas, or loot for my birthday, all these different things. Yeah. When you put that kind of security as an afterthought, but you have time to install rims and music and all these different things. Yeah. Your priorities for securing that vehicle is not really there.
Yeah, we are so trusting when we go to these places. You go to the car wash, you go by John, and you're accustomed going by John for years, so you're feeling comfortable. You hand John your keys, but you don't know who John hired. If the man who's cleaning the car, what are his thoughts, how genuine these people are. So when someone is doing that, what kind of precautions can we as car owners take?
Well, let's break this down. First, let's start at what you just mentioned there, John employees. John employees mightn't actually be a car thief, John employees might actually be in a scenario where he lives in an area that if he doesn't go with that little device and clone a key and don't come back with a clone key, he will be beat up, or his little brother will be beat up, or they will ransack his house because he might be living in an area that has, gangs and all that kind of stuff. But let's not only look at the car wash. Let's look about the other places that we take our vehicles sometimes. We take them to mechanics. We take them to dealership service centers. We take our cars legitimately to places to have it checked, even to go and to check your air conditioning, to have your upholstery cleaned. And in all of these operations where you leave your key in the hands of somebody else, they could be cloning that key. It's something that is inevitable. You cannot you cannot stop it, you cannot predict it, unless you could drop off a car at an external service provider and keep the key in your pocket and have them do what they need to do in your presence, whether you're tinting or whatever. From the minute you have to leave your key with them, your key could be cloned in seconds, plain and simple. So I want people to understand that part. This is something that is plaguing the United States. If you go online right now and you type in onboard diagnostic car theft, you will see articles and videos and media reports about how many cars are being stolen in different states and in Canada. You understand? And with all of that as well, convictions and all these things are becoming more and more difficult because the tools that they're using are average tools. It's nothing. It used to be tools that could have been jailbroken, but now it's average tools could be used to do these things. But let's look at some other service providers. I have seen, a lot of companies now that does GPS, because Air Support Tactical, we are a provider, and they're saying nationwide installations. And I fear what's happening to people outside there when they do these things with nationwide installations, because what some of these companies are advertising is that they're going to be sending people to your home. Mm-hmm. There is one such company that has missed the mark completely when it comes to security. And what they do is that they have been hiring the average person without any background checks, just people off the streets, and giving them subcontracts to go out and do installations for their company. And some, as we mentioned in our previous show, some of these people who are purporting to be technicians have criminal backgrounds or are affiliated with people who have criminal backgrounds. So this other company, as I say, who have missed the mark, they have been sending people out to these to people's homes, and when they come to your home, they know where you're living, they have access to your key, they know the layout of the land, they can get a chance to see exactly how you're set up and what security you have in your building, like cameras and all these different things. You are inviting a whole surveillance team for stealing a car to your home. You don't know. Yeah. So it is really and truly better to take your vehicle somewhere and have it installed away from your home. Now, keep in mind, they can still track you to your home, but don't make it so easy. Don't have conversations about your GPS install about, what time you just go to work and which gym you go to and about your life. That is not this discussion you want to have with people who are installing a security device inside of a vehicle, especially if you don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing that we should look out for. So as you say, service providers, yes, we have to look closely at our service providers. Even here at Air Support Tactical, if customers come in and they ask about any of our employees, we will be obligated to sit down with them and explain who they are. Now, our officers, all our employees are vetted twice. When we do background checks on hiring, and when we have to do background checks before we send their report to the Commissioner of Police so that they can be sworn in as precept officers. So we have to do those background checks. And even after that, all employees are susceptible to lie detection tests, random background checks, and drug testing in accordance with being a supplemental police officer. So there are checks and balances that we have built in to protect our clients. What you should really do as you're looking around for providers is make sure that those similar checks and balances are available to protect you, the customer.
I mean, it is so frightening when you think of it outside there, because you are really trusting your service provider with your vehicle, and I have been there, so I can't just say that I've seen, because I myself have been very trusting with things like this. You go on, you hand the person your keys and you sit down and you relax. Or sometimes you go to service the vehicle. It may take a couple of hours to do some of the things. You leave the vehicle, you leave your keys, and I'll come back a little later on or something like that. But really and truly, who to trust?
And that's the thing. And, we look on social media when normally everybody does that now. They search on social media for service providers. And for GPS companies, there's so many of them that exist now. There are 3 other companies I have a high regard for, and I will name them: GPS Rescue, REO Consultants, and Gaffer Consultants or Gaffer Technology in South. And these 3 companies have been in the business almost as long as I have been in the business. And we're talking about 15 years. But along the way, we have seen other companies pop up, advertise heavily on social media, and then just fizzle away and disappear, and they leave their clients exposed. That has been a norms. And other companies come up with owners who are convicted offenders with criminal history and all these different things. There's one such company. Another one popped up sometime in 2023, and they have nobody in the company has any security experience. Before they started selling GPS, they were selling handbags and shoes. So people are trusting what they see on social media and trusting these companies, not understanding that not all GPS companies are the same. Some are properly constituted, while some are the Timu version. That's a term. So you have to really and truly do some investigation. And I would like to use the word research, because you really can't do research by looking at ads. But do some investigation into these companies. Find out more about the principals. Find out more about the owners and their backgrounds before you decide to purchase a GPS tracking device, because it's your vehicle, and it could very well be that same company sending people to steal your vehicle.
As you mentioned about all these sophisticated technologies, we're talking things like jammers, electronic devices. I mean, without really going into much detail that could alert some of these criminals as to things that you are doing, how can we, the average person, is there any way that we can recognize the risk and what and even some practical steps that we can take so that we can better protect our vehicles?
Well, to start with, let's just discuss a little bit about the technologies that cartels are using. So you spoke about a couple of them, jammers and scanners, which are two different technologies. What jammers does, it basically causes some interruption to the signal of the particular device. You can do it on the what we call the GSM side, which is the phone side of the GPS system, or the GPS side, its ability to collect signals from satellites. And once it does this, there's not going to be any telemetry information being reported to servers that you, the client, will have access to through the app. Now, that is a problem. Now, companies like ours, we have been looking at different technologies as well. So if it is one technology fails, the other one, it'll switch over to another one that is hidden somewhere else in the car. That has worked effectively for us. But I can't say if there are any other companies in Trinidad and Tobago that do anything like that. So I've seen reports, even the most recent was a report online where a TTRS driver was kidnapped, tied up, and his car was taken. I spoke with that guy, and from what we saw is that the device went offline shortly after he was able to escape. And it went offline while the vehicle was in motion, not showing any kind of indication that the device itself was removed or tampered with. So it was a jamming event. So for those people who think that jammers don't exist in Trinidad, you would be wrong. As we talk about scanners, the scanners is what they are using to find the GPS tracking devices inside of vehicles. Now, I'm a TSCM specialist. TSCM stands for Technical Surveillance Countermeasures. So I was trained in the United States to search for bugs and listening devices and all these different things. I'm certified as well. I'm the only GPS company that has that capability in Trinidad and Tobago. And what we have found is that the devices that we see on Amazon that these guys buy, the car thieves, and those devices don't work. The systems that we use for searching for GPS tracking devices are upwards of $5,000 US, not $50 that you find on Amazon. So that is another technology is used. The one that we are really concerned about right now are the hack tools, like the Flipper Zero and other devices like that. Now, these hack tools uses, in some cases, wireless connections. They could connect to your Bluetooth in your vehicle, the Bluetooth in a GPS. They could even mimic GPS signals. They could mimic GSM signals and do a man-in-the-middle attack. Those devices are not easy. And there are a few of them in Trinidad that are being used. So what we have to do as GPS companies is always come up with new firmwares that will be uploaded that will basically update the device so that a Flipper Zero attack may not be as effective in a short space of time. It'll take them a while to figure out our algorithms and stuff like that. Not many GPS companies are doing that because effectively what most GPS companies do, and they could come on radio and say I lie, is that they buy from a provider and they sell to the client. That's it. There's no manipulation of firmware, no development of software, nothing like that. So you are putting something that was working 6 years ago in your vehicle because somebody say that'll work today against a car thief. And that's somebody who telling you that has never even been on a stolen vehicle response operation to see what is happening out in the field. Anybody who knows about the export tactical, my name, know that I'm always outside here. So those are the three main tools. Now, what you can do as a consumer is become more aware of what is taking place. There are so many resources. You could go online on YouTube and you could, Google these things and you could YouTube these things, and you'll get some more information to let you make a more informed decision, because there are different technologies. I would wrap up by saying, go old school. You see things like pedal locks, and the steering lock and the gear lock and the shifter lock and stuff like that. Invest in one. It's like a couple $100 in some cases. Put those things, those visible deterrents, you leave it on. Chances are when those guys come with a key to start and you realize that is there, they're going to leave the vehicle and then bust it. So go old school with some of your anti-theft technologies.
Wow, that is interesting, because I know that as they are getting more technology driven and stuff, and tools that they will be using, they may not probably have some of those things to treat with some of those if they go and they meet like a club lock or something else like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it is an extra deterrent, because we have seen videos where guys showed up with power tools and stuff and open people's gate and drive out with the car. So once they come looking for a vehicle, they will try to find a way to take it. But no vehicle that has been created today is completely impervious to motor vehicle theft. Because if you think about it, all of these electronic things you could put in, if that person comes and puts a gun to your head while the car is running until they get out, you can't come out and jump and fight karate. The GPS is not going to put handcuffs on them. They're going to drive off with it. We're not any transform age as yet. So when you see people advertising and saying a GPS is an anti-theft device, it isn't. A GPS in itself cannot stop a vehicle from being stolen. And I hear a lot of people talking about immobilizers and all these different things as though an immobilizer is some form of witchcraft that nobody else can defeat. Car thieves have been defeating immobilizers for years. And that is why, from our perspective, we don't install it, because it makes no sense. All you're doing is creating a roadmap by putting an additional piece of wiring into the car that they could follow back to the GPS. Our company, we spent more time in the detection side of things and also making sure that we have our own response. So Charles, a couple of weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had an incident where we went out to recover a car. It was a Sunday, and we got on location. TTPS were alerted before we were called, and we got to that location 4 minutes and 42 seconds after the coming off the phone with that client. 4 minutes and 42 seconds, and it took the police almost 2 hours. Now imagine if the car thieves were still there, they could have stripped down that vehicle into nothing. By the time the police reached, it was a shell. Now, I am not bad talking the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I always say the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is our police service. It is ours. It's Trinidad and Tobago. It doesn't belong to Barbados or Grenada. It's ours. We're supposed to be proud of it. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service do not have unlimited resources. So when they have resources on duty at a particular point in time, a stolen vehicle that has been recovered by a private company is kind of low priority compared to a potential homicide or somebody brandishing a gun or something like that, and the resource will be directed there. So citizens must not feel the minute you call the police are going to send resources to your car because you tell them you know where it is. That may not necessarily happen in that space of time. And I can tell you, having done hundreds of stolen vehicle recoveries, if I have about 20 where police reach to that location before us, that would be plenty. That's a 10, and I'm talking about we are clocking close to 800 recoveries over the past 15 years. So I have a certain
exactly what it's like, but if we have to give like our listeners a simple vehicle security checklist, before you leave your car, whether you're at home, you're at work, or you might like the supermarket, what are those things you would say to somebody before you leave your vehicle? Make sure you do this.
Well, I would say this. Now that we have AI and all these different things that exist, I would want people to start from the position of the known, understand your own personal context. Go into ChatGPT or do it on Gemini, on Google or something, and put in the type of vehicle that you have. What are some of the features? Whether it's a push button start, put all the information you could put in that will tell you a little bit more about your car if you don't already know the answer to this question. And ask the AI, what is the inherent or the built-in security device into this vehicle from the factory, and let them explain it to you. Then ask the AI, so what are the vulnerabilities? And once you understand those questions, it may very well tell you that the vulnerabilities are what we discussed earlier about the keys being copied and all these different things. Then ask, what are some of the solutions I could employ? And some of the solutions you'll hear about GPS and all these different things. I mean, I don't want to tell everybody there's a blanket answer, but at least get yourself more educated on what the security built into your vehicle is from the start. That's where you should start. And the other part that we should also look at is, again, looking at your own behaviors. Where do you go? How do you park your vehicle? Are you security conscious? Those are the things that you have to build. See, those non-tangibles, your behaviors. Once you could make those changes and keep it in line with best security practices, that is going to help you keep your vehicle safe. I don't want to tell people to run and go and buy this and run and go and buy that, except for the fact that I said the club lock is still the working solution, old school working solution. But ultimately, get yourself educated before you start to make these decisions. And if you people have been listening to this entire show, I'm advocating, please, please, please do your investigations on GPS tracking companies before you go and employ one. Don't listen to the sales gimmicks that you see on social media. Check these companies, visit their websites, try to find out more about their owners and their backgrounds and how they are able to contribute to a security climate. Do that before you make a final decision.
For real. Look, how tell people, how do they get more information about you, and how to get in contact with you, how to find you?
All right. Well, our numbers, our telephone contact is 235-5477, and we ask people the best way to get information from us, WhatsApp us. Yes, you can call. We do have people operating here 24 hours a day, but our customer service reps are here from 8 to 4 p.m. But why I say WhatsApp us is because we have built an AI agent that has a huge knowledge base of accurate answers that you could message, ask questions, and you will get answers. And there's a human behind that to pick up an answer. And that information is something that you wouldn't, it'll be saved on your phone, so you wouldn't have to call back and ask the same question again. We have put out a lot of information there now that AI is able to answer these questions. So WhatsApp us, and that's your first engagement. So that's easy. We are located in Valsain and in San Fernando, but I would want to say this to you guys. Air Support Tactical has expanded. We have acquired a new building. We have purchased a building recently, and refurbishment is starting on that building shortly. So we expect to be moving to that building, be in Hillsborough, somewhere around September of this year. So it's part of our expansion, because we're also going to be starting up offices in Canada. We already have offices in the United States, and we are expanding, globally now. So that is part of what we're doing as we're moving into 2027.
Okay. Give us that number again, Duke.
Yes, 235-5477.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks much for being with us. Thanks much for the information, and we look forward to talking with you again.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys, and stay safe.
Okay. Yeah, people have been talking with Dirk Barnes there.
Yeah. Dirk always comes across so knowledgeable about that the whole security issue surrounding vehicle theft. So it's like an education. When he's talking, it's like he's educating you, and look, this is what is happening. So it's really interesting and educational.
Yeah, and I hope people will take the information very seriously, because you spend so much, hundreds of $1,000s on a vehicle. It's not an easy thing to get up in the middle of the night and realize it's not parked where you do, and everybody who's using it inside the house, or you in the car going there. That is nerve shattering, So you have to have something this wrong, because the thieves are not letting up outside there. They are doing what they have to do, all the time. Yeah, so I want to thank Dirk Barnes for passing through. And of course, you can listen to Dirk on a Thursday just after the 8 o'clock right here on NETT Radio. Gone in 60 seconds. It's that kind of time we're talking about, Richard. Yeah. Richard, I got some information. The video that you were talking about. So let me see if I can play it before we go on. All right.
All right.
At least the two of them actually. So let's deal with the one with the missing guy.
A family's desperate search for their teen son ends in tragedy after a water search involving 8 law enforcement agencies ends in heartbreak. Investigators believe they found the body of 18-year-old Nolan Wells in the water after he went missing from his friends during a crowded 4th of July boat celebration at Horn Island on the Mississippi coast. The coroner said the remains matched the description of Nolan's appearance and there were no immediate signs of physical injury. Friends and family remember Wells as a standout athlete with a big heart. Nolan's mother described him as a special soul. Family and friends and I are absolutely devastated. My heart is broke for our sweet son who was always willing to cheer and uplift others, she wrote on Facebook. The Jackson County Sheriff says that no foul play is suspected. He declined to elaborate on how Nolan became separated from his friends group. A member of the volunteer rescue group, United Cajun Navy, spoke to several people who were at Horn Island, and they described it as a crowded with boats and swimmers, many who had been drinking, and he said he believes that strong rip currents could have posed a risk.
Yeah.
You know, Sir Charles, I cannot fathom how you could go to hang out with somebody in a remote area, leave, and not figure out that that person is not there. And even if that person say, no, I want to stay on the island, which would be incredulous because it's remote, that you would still leave him there and say, okay, well, enjoy your life on the island.
Yeah.
You know, something's not adding up.
Yeah, there's a lot of because I mean, I don't know what would make me want to leave somebody outside in a situation like that.
Yeah, because there's not a beach that you could say, okay, I'll stay and I'll take a lift or a Uber after. No, you're in a remote area, one of the most remote shorelines in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's just right. Wow. Anyhow, and the other one is the football situation.
French soccer superstar Kylian Mbappe is hit back at a senator from Paraguay who's made some racist remarks about him. And that senator has since doubled down, and France has opened an investigation into her. So let's start at the beginning. Mbappe helped France beat Paraguay in the World Cup on Saturday. After that, this senator from Paraguay, Celeste Amarilla, shared several disparaging posts about Mbappe on X. She said he is, quote, pretending hard to be French. She described him as a colonized Cameroonian and said, this brute never even learned how to write. For many players whose families trace their roots to former colonies, this type of rhetoric is especially painful. France, Britain, Italy, and other European colonial powers built these global empires that brought millions of people into their orbit over generations. And today, those descendants are full citizens who represent their countries on the world stage. Mbappe, who was born in Paris, France, he responded, calling Amarilla a, quote, despicable woman. He went on to say, through your recklessness and brazen racism, the entire world has already forgotten the journey and the historic effort that your players accomplished during this World Cup, making way for an incompetent woman who gives the worst possible image of her country. It didn't end there. Amarilla issued an open letter written in French and in Spanish saying her problem was not with the country of France, but with Mbappe. She said she regretted using the, quote, same insults that she has received as a mixed-race person. But then she demanded that Mbappe apologize, threatening legal action if he did not retract his comment. She said his response was gender-based violence. So it's important to point out here that the Paraguayan government is not standing with the senator. On Monday, they released a statement condemning her, calling her remarks, quote, contrary to the values and principles that inspire peaceful coexistence and respect for human dignity that our country promotes. Meanwhile, France, as you can imagine, is standing with Mbappe. President Emmanuel Macron posted this statement, another goal for Kylian Mbappe, against racism this time. All my support. When words defile, our values respond. Dignity, respect, fraternity. And the Fédération Française de Football, the French Football Federation, said it would file a criminal complaint against the Paraguayan senator, saying in a statement, quote, "These remarks are criminal and reprehensible. They must be prosecuted here as elsewhere." In France, it is actually illegal to publicly incite discrimination, hatred, or violence against a person or group based on their race, their origin, ethnicity, or religion. It is considered a serious form of hate speech, and those offenses are vigorously prosecuted. Meanwhile, Paraguay also has laws prohibiting the advocacy of national, racial, or religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence.
Mhm. I don't know. I don't know when or how it will stop.
With humans, I don't know.
No.
I think when aliens invade and see us just as one species, and then we realize, hey, we all the same boy.
Oh my God. I don't know. Some people they just hold these kinds of prejudices. Sometimes I wonder if they even understand why it is that they have those kind of prejudices.
Yeah. But you know, because of how human beings are socialized, you have what is also called, I'm not talking about her. She was obviously racist. But you know, you have unconscious biases that sometimes you're not even aware that you're biased in a particular situation. Because it's just how you were socialized, and sometimes it can be racist in terms of what you have said or what you have done, even though your intent may not have been that. I'm not talking about this woman. That was obviously her intent. So you know, so the whole issue of how and Trinidad and Tobago is such a special place in certain ways, because we have, by and large, been socialized in a very integrated space where race really is not an issue for children when they're in school. And it's not an issue at all a lot of the time as we are maturing into adults. It's the politics that infuses it, you know.
Yeah.
And so we are accustomed, and when I talk about race, I'm not even talking just about race, but the multiplicity of religions that we accept, and it's not an issue of difference for us.
Yeah.
Growing up, you know, that you're Muslim or you're Catholic or you're Hindu, it's not something that we see as being anything that separates us. Yeah, that separates us as being Trinidadian. And it's only politics and now social media that has fueled that kind of divisiveness. And it's for the school system to keep reinforcing that's not who we are. That what you are seeing on social media, what you're seeing in the politics, has to be an aberration that we have to always call out.
Yeah. But thank God that, you know, people are pushing back against that kind of thing. Because even you're right here, there you see little pockets of it, you know, coming out every now and then.
Yep.
Thank God that you know, there's strong pushback against it. You know, so because people really don't tolerate it, they don't encourage it, and we are really trying to make this space that we're into a better space for everybody. So
and politicians do it, and sometimes they do it indirectly, and sometimes they're very direct about it, and we're seeing it all play out now in terms of the nature of saying 1% and things like that. All that is part of an underlying race talk that is not direct, but it's an underlying thing when you start to separate people on the basis of who they are. And that's why it has to be called out. And that's why I've never liked that term 1%, because for other people, for a lot of other countries, 1% means the elite rich. In a Trinidad and Tobago context, it doesn't just mean that.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, Richard, we gotta go. It's 9 o'clock on the button. All right. Before Richard wraps up, we just remind you all that we have the Cooler Cruise coming up. All right, so you can come out and support the Cooler Cruise. Get your tickets at the advertised outlets, Crosby's in St. James, Rumbox in St. James. You can also pick up your tickets at Bobby's Bar in Kirrup and Fats International in Arima. K Squared Fashions, they are located at Eastgate Mall, West Mall, and also the one at C3 Center. Of course, you can call any one of our DJs, presenters, anywhere. Use any one of our numbers. We will get your tickets to you. So make sure you come out and support. And even if you're not coming on the cruise, still support the cruise by buying a ticket or something. Right? That's what we ask you to. Still support. Purchase a ticket or two. We have some giveaways from people, especially our friends on the outside. Our listeners, they have purchased a couple of tickets. And we will start to give them away on Monday. After, and I didn't put the criteria. They decided, they will give away one, but you have to buy one. All right, but from Monday, you'll start to win them. Right, Richard?
All right, so have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Laughter is always great for your health. And, of course, netradiott.com. That's where you go to listen to the excellent programming throughout the day. And NETT Radio Trinidad, you on your smart devices, you say NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn. Take me there. And of course, you will be there listening to excellent programming on your smart devices wherever you are on planet Earth. So, of course, we know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen to, and we thank you for choosing us. My apologies again for being so late this morning. I really shouldn't climb late in South, but but my apologies. But but all is well. So have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, no matter what is going on the planet and what's going on in your personal life, take time out to smile and laugh and look for the positive in life. Have a great one, people. You have been listening and watching The Breakfast Show.
Get up,
right.
Get up. It's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes started.